Ooh, AI is going to rule the world. Well, every AI doom take it sounds the same and there's a pattern forming. So, in the discourse around AI and creativity in general, once you see it, you're not going to be able to unsee it. So, let's talk about what I'm noticing lately. A hot take on hot takes, you could say. So, the pattern that I'm noticing, strip away the branding and the follower accounts because most AI will replace creators' posts follow an extremely familiar formula. Here it is laid bare what I'm noticing. So first thing that you see is a scary stat. Ooh, a dramatic number that's often decontextualized, designed to spike cortisol before you even had your coffee for the day. Number two, there's usually an anecdote. So there's a stat and then there's an anecdote, which is usually a single story, following with number three, which is vague reassurance. But humans will always be needed for XYZ, whatever it is. No specifics, no evidence usually. Okay? Now, right at the end, because there's a hook and a retainer, and then the reward at the end, it's a hire me call to action. So the pivot, which is usually a course, a newsletter, a consulting offer, the doom was this funnel all along. And if you use Claude, which I use Claude all the time, I helped it make this presentation, for example. It's great using AI, but you're going to see this everywhere because your feed is going to be the new Claude code hack that killed this app or did this thing that ruined this new startup or this new startup that boomed because of it and how it's going to change the world. Like AI has already changed the world and it's going to continue changing the world. Here's the thing. This on social media is everywhere right now. And the formula is so repeatable that you could generate it with AI, which honestly, some people probably are already. So here's what feels off. I'm going to make this really brief. The loudest takes on replacing creators tend to come from people who aren't actually building anything with AI, and they think they're building something, but usually they're not really building anything at all. So there's observers, people with high certainty but low contact with the tools, optimized for shareability. Then there's practitioners, lower certainty, high contact with the tools, optimized for figuring it out. Kind of where I am right now, in my opinion. Then there's the loudest voices, often in the first camp, rarely in the second. Okay, the further that somebody is from the actual work that they could be doing, not just the AI buzz, but from real hard work, the more certain they seem to be about what the work will become. It's a weird dichotomy because people are so in the news. People are so in the news, know everything that's going on, so they must be the most knowledgeable. Doesn't mean that they have the proper core foundation, if that makes sense. Hopefully that doesn't hit your ear wrong and you understand what I'm trying to say. So where I am honestly a bit unsure is, here's the part that I don't see enough that people say out loud. So I don't know who's right. Okay, true, I don't know. The ground keeps moving and every single confident prediction 18 months ago looks completely different today. That's just the truth. Now, will it commoditize most creative output? Maybe. Will human creativity become more valuable? I think there's a possibility of that. Is the answer somewhere in between? I think so. I don't know who's right. But sitting with the uncertainty isn't some sort of weakness. I don't want you to think that you're behind or you're too far ahead, you know everything. That's my personal opinion, so that's the only reason why I'm saying it. But uncertainty is not a weakness. It's the only honest position where the data is genuinely ambiguous. So it's just the truth. And ambiguity is extremely important because most people don't know who's right. It's just the truth. So what I am sure of, in my personal opinion right now, as of April 26th, Sunday at 4:02 p.m., amid all of those noises, a few things do feel solid to me, not because I'm certain about the future, but because they have held up across every single point of this conversation. So I do have to read from these slides because there's so much information packed. I use them just as a place to kind of make sure I'm not hitting the wrong spot and I'm making sure this is a storytellable way for you to see it. But let me run through this real quick. So taste is getting more valuable. When generation is cheap, curation and discernment become scarce resource. Knowing what's good and why is a skill that does compound. Breaking these down really quickly, judgment doesn't automate very easily. So the ability to make a call in ambiguous situations, to weigh trade-offs, to know when something is almost right but not quite, that's deeply human and deeply hard to replicate, i.e. gut feeling, which comes from the brain after a little bit of time. Okay? Now, direction matters more than speed. AI makes execution faster. That means the cost of going in the wrong direction is actually higher, it's not lower. Speed is king, and I get it. But now we have that speed no matter what. We don't have to actually manually act on it enough. So what do you do with that real work? You make sure your compass is pointed in the right direction, because that speed can do what you want no matter what, okay? Strategic clarity is more important than ever. So taste, judgment, and direction, those aren't soft skills anymore at all. They are the hard ones, because everything else has got so easy, right? Hope you're following along. And they're getting more valuable, not less, because less people are actually using them. Therefore, the value and the scarcity of it actually goes up. So how I'm holding it, not with a framework or with some sort of hot take on this specifically, but there's a few operating principles that I do follow just to make this a little bit more sustainable for me, and I don't overthink about AI and my business and everything else. So I actually use the tools, because if you refuse to engage, it's like refusing to use the internet in 2002. I stay sharp, so that way I'm right on top of some of the new stuff, and I know what to do, and I'm not too behind, and I make sure I don't panic, right? So I don't stay stuck in the past. I stay present on the present, what's going on right now, and I don't worry too much about the future when it comes to AI. Maybe I should apply these to life, because sometimes I have a hard time with these. I'm just practicing becoming more present in the moment now. But with AI, it's not a fad, but it's not the end-all be-all, right? It's not something that I'm overthinking right now. So here's an open question that I want to leave off with. This is your turn. I have shared what I'm noticing, and I'm genuinely curious what you're seeing out there. What is the dumbest thing that's the dumbest thing that AI will replace creators take that you have come across lately? Okay, what's the dumbest thing, let me say this again, that AI, creators have think is going to get overtaken by AI that you've come across lately? Drop it below, and bonus points if it followed the exact 4-step formula that I talked about in slide 2. Okay, the scary stat, the anecdote, and the CTA. You've seen them all. I've seen a lot of them. Which is the dumbest one you found? Let me know in the comments, or share a link, or just tell me a quick story. I'd be happy to hear it. I will read and respond to everyone. Okay? My name is Mark Perry. I'm the co-founder and CEO of M&C Creative Co. We help take social media off the plates of local business owners here in Calgary. For those that want to grow their business, that are owner-operators, we help them grow through social media, so that way they can get back to doing what they would much rather do. Okay, if you have any questions on that, my information is there. We operate in Calgary, Okotoks, Cochrane, Banff, and Canmore, and I make these videos so that way, one, I can practice my public speaking skills and by presenting to a camera, and number two is so that way, if anybody is dealing and facing some friction with some of the context that I talk about in the content, let me know, and that's kind of why I do this. That way I can hopefully help. So let me know if you think it did in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.